Hey y'all, hi. Okay, so for a little oasis of calm in the storm of this season, like the last couple of months of the year, at least on our end with this work, it really is chaotic to say the least. I'm just gonna do a holiday makeup look with makeup on my face, like a holiday party makeup look. So what would I do if I had 45 minutes to get myself together to go to a holiday party? So basically we're just hanging out. I'll link all the stuff, my book, everything. I'll link that down below, but let's just get right into the meat of the video. So I have a little skincare on. I had to go somewhere this morning and I very quickly put like a little bit of brow pencil into my brows and a little bit of brow mascara, but kind of not enough. And I have some mascara on my lashes. And I also had some complexion product on, but I took it off for this video. So we're starting from this kind of middling place, which I think is actually pretty representative of what often does happen when you're getting ready to go to a holiday party. You might still have some remnants of daytime makeup. You might not have time to do like a full wash the face, a full reset, but building on what's already there is sometimes a wiser choice than that actually for a couple of reasons. However, when that happens, I do like to remove my complexion and sometimes exfoliate a little bit as I'm doing that and then put on some skincare and start over fresh with complexion. So this is what I would actually be doing. I mean, I did it. I'm doing it for this video today, but this actually is pretty accurate to what I would be doing if I was getting ready for a holiday party. So I put on a little skincare. I'm going to put on a little bit more. This is the gel cream from Dia. It's called Air Angel. And you know, it's a gel cream. So it's a nice, just extra shot of hydration for the face, even after a bunch of other skincare is already there because my skin is just drinking up skincare right now because it's winter. That is pretty much already sunk in. Now I'm going to use the Jillian Dempsey Mixturizer. It's one of those products that's sold as a moisturizer that's also a primer. It's like a priming moisturizer. And it's funny, I get stuff like this in PR frequently, and sometimes this will happen. I'll get something like this, and I'll think it's good, but kind of unremarkable. I won't be blown away immediately or something, but then I'll end up using it almost every day. And then I'll be like, oh, actually, it's a really, really solid product. That is what has happened with this. It's become basically my primer every time I'm doing makeup. I think the reason that it suits me so well is that it adds moisture. It feels like skincare, feels like moisturizer, but it achieves that priming step. It's not too matte and it's not too glossy. It's like that very skin-like in-between finish. But if anything, it maybe provides a little bit of dulling of the shine of skincare. It's a good base for me. So there's a lot to recommend this, even though I have never been like effusive about it before. I also thought when I first got it that it was small, like that the amount was small and the container was small, that maybe it wouldn't feel worth it to buy it. But a little goes a long way and it just lasted and lasted and lasted. There's something about the little needle squeezy tube, the applicator, that helps me not use too much. So I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to let that really set into my skin so that it's not wet anymore at all. And I'm going to gently kind of push my brows into a more set and organized shape with the clear brow gel from Make Beauty. And I'm going to tell you something. So this video is not sponsored or anything, but I just want to announce that the press that I now work with, which is the press that published my book, a couple of years ago, my book, Julia Hungry, my first book of poetry, won the Anthony Hecht Poetry Prize, which is the first book prize at Waywiser Press. So I'm now on the board of Waywiser Books, which is like the US iteration of Waywiser Press. And I'm helping to run the prize, or I'm like part of the board that's helping to run the prize. The Anthony Hecht Prize is currently accepting manuscripts for next year, but the window is about to close. I just wanted to announce it here in case any of you out there are poets and have like a manuscript of poetry that you have been sending out to first book prizes or thinking about sending out. The deadline was just extended to December 15th. So I know this is a very niche, like a very specific announcement. There's probably like 3 of you out there to whom this pertains, but I'll link it at the top of the description box down below. I just wanted to make sure that there isn't anyone who would have liked to submit to the prize who just missed it this year because of the deadline. So I will link that. I'll also link the kind of updated information about Waywiser Books. Maybe I'll even link the like fundraising PDF for this year because the press is fundraising currently, but I mostly wanted to make that announcement about the deadline for this year's Anthony Hecht Prize. Because as I know well from back when I was submitting my book to first book prizes every year, which I did for years, sometimes those deadlines, even when you have the best intentions, can just sneak up really fast. So if that's relevant to you, make sure to check it out. I feel like my brows don't need any more color in them, right? I mean, I don't need any more. I don't need to like fill them in anymore because I should make a plan plan for what I'm doing for the makeup look. I really want to use my salt products. I think I might want to use the medium or the deep quad, at least for the lips. But I also want to put something on the eyes. So usually in situations like this, I go really hard with one element and then scale back the other ones quite a lot. I think I'm going to fall somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to have visible makeup on like all the parts of my face. Although maybe I should kind of scale back the cheeks a little bit if eyes and lips are both going to be pretty prominent. It's going to be like a fairly light application of makeup in all of those places so that my face can handle having makeup everywhere instead of sort of the dial turned way up. I'll often wear like a strong red lip and no eye makeup. You know, I like to turn the dial way up in one place and way down on the other and sort of minimize the complexity of the look overall. But today, I don't know. I really want to put on makeup. So let's start with the eyes and then we'll do complexion. And here's what I'm going to do. This is How Many Carats from Fenty. It's a highlighter, but I like using it on my eyes. I'm going to put this all over my lids in a single layer to get that shine. And this is exactly the kind of thing I would do for a holiday party. Like that's exactly the kind of starting point I would have. But I both want to warm it up. It's a little icy. I just want to have like just a bit of grunge and depth in my eyes today. So this has emerged kind of unexpectedly as the number one eyeshadow of the year for me, this Dior palette. It's the Dior Backstage Eye Palette in shade 002, the Smoky Essentials palette. It's out all the time. I'm using it all the time. I find it incredibly useful for the same reasons that eyeshadows like this used to kind of disappoint and frustrate me when I was younger and I was doing more dramatic makeup. I use it all the time because it's subtle, and so I can keep going and going and going with the shadows and never go overboard and eventually kind of get that sort of smudged in with a sooty thumb grungy look, but it's subtle. It doesn't overwhelm me, and that is exactly what I want today. I'm going to go in the center shade, which is by far the most used. For me, it's that bronze. I'm actually going to try to kind of a lot of it on this brush and create some shape. Wow, can it really be that simple? I'm really feeling like less is more right now. I just put it in the outer corner and blended it sort of into the crease a little bit, you know, up here and kind of halfway across the lid. Because it's on top of the highlight, it gives the eye a more matte effect, which kind of makes it subtler, but that highlight is there to add, you know, texture and interest in all the places that matte shadow didn't go. And it's not really matte. I mean, it's a slightly shiny, but it's matte compared to a lot of shiny things, but it's not one of the matte shadows in this palette, actually. I'm actually going to mix this bronze with this kind of dull terracotta colored, actually matte shade that's up there in the upper corner and use that to make it a little grungier by smudging like underneath my eyes. But yeah, I feel like that's taken it to a slightly more sultry place, like it's a little more makeup-y of a place. And I also feel like you need to add a little makeup to the lower lash line, like darker. So I'm going to take this black and just kind of get it a little bit in my waterline down there. Okay, so I put it in my waterline. I had a little extra on the brush. I stuck it right into the outer corner and just smudged it out a little bit on the lash line. And now that's it. That's kind of a lot for eyes, but it's subtle enough that I think the rest of my face will be able to handle makeup as well. It's just such a pleasure to use these for something like this. It's kind of like making a painting and working with pastels. Not oil pastels, but like chalk pastels, working with chalk pastels instead of oil pastels. That's kind of how these eyeshadows feel. That's like the makeup look that I'm after right now, is a look that was made with chalk pastels. So that's why I find myself using them so much. And I think they worked out really well for today. Just like kind of unprecious and unlabored. I do want to put on some more mascara, but I'm going to do complexion first. You know what I'm going to do? This is a Supergoop Protectant. It's a tinted SPF. I tested this in a video for Patreon. I was just doing like a quick get ready with me and I happened to have this and I hadn't tried it yet. It blew me away. My patrons can tell you I was so excited and I kind of regretted not capturing my first impressions of this for big YouTube because it was just like, I couldn't believe how good the color was. Ordinarily, I probably wouldn't wear a tinted SPF to a holiday party depending on the time of day. I mean, a holiday party, I associate that with like an evening. So I might not ordinarily choose this, but I might, depending on how much I end up continuing to really love it, because let me show you what it does. So first of all, look at the color. It's like a very pale grayish green, unheard of, especially for a tinted SPF, right? It's unbelievable, but unheard of for a lot of complexion products too, to have a shade like this. It's really amazing. So it really applies like a lotion, like a sunscreen, way more than like makeup. It doesn't feel like a skin tint that protects your skin with SPF. It feels like a sunscreen lotion that has a tint to it. And the thing is, products like that are never a good color match for me, but this is. So I feel like I've applied a pretty hefty lotion and it's given me a pretty hefty dose of tint that has helped to calm my redness in a way that really goes with my overall complexion. It's just so exciting. I rarely find a product like that. It ended up applying a bit shinier and greasier, like more lotiony today. I think because it was on top of so much skincare. I had put so much skincare on underneath it today. Whereas when I applied it for Patreon, my skin was much drier. So it kind of soaked right in and I was left flabbergasted by the finish and the tint. I've learned something now about that product. It's not going to sit in such an extraordinary one and done way on my skin when it's layered on top of a bunch of skincare. So again, like just more of a summer product, I feel, because I put on all that skincare because it's winter and my skin's kind of dry. Now there's just a lot going on in my skin. And because it was like a little slippier and wetter on top of all that skincare and primer, like that was a lot of primer I put on. And this is sort of a primer in its way. My redness is very neutralized, but not as covered as I think it was when I applied it before on Patreon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the littlest bit of the Refi Concealer in shade 1, which is this really, really bright neutral shade, but like really bright and brightening shade. So I'm going to use this to kind of conceal these spots of redness on my chest. But I'm going to thin that out quite a lot. This is one of these situations where I feel like on the camera, it's looking really shiny, and in person, it's looking really pretty natural, especially because you can still see the texture here and like these old acne scars. My skin looks really natural in person, like very good skin, in that it's like you can't really see that makeup is contributing to the clarity of it and the color, partly because of the flaws. And that's kind of like a trick of the eye, you know? And I really like that, especially for a base for a look like what I'm working towards today. So I'm going to leave that, but I think that I'm going to powder a bit for the sake of like how it's translating to camera, and also for maybe making the look a little sturdier. I'm using the NARS Powder and Cliff and this beautiful Refer brush, the 05. And I'm going to use this bronzer that I have, which is from What's Up Beauty, to just bring the color of my neck a little closer to the color of the rest of my skin, because otherwise it's like blinding white. All right, I like how it's coming together. I feel like it's looking very not too labored and lived in. It's already looking lived in, which I love. This eye look contributes to that, and the way to the complexion contributes to that. It's looking kind of grown up to me. You know what I mean? Like the lived in aspect of it, the lack of total perfection and covering up everything. I'm going to add a little more mascara. I was wearing the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash. That's what's on there right now. I'm testing it right now. It's okay. This is the Kulfi mascara, which is like my absolute favorite. And hopefully it'll add quite a bit more volume and definition. Actually, it's kind of hard to get this mascara to layer over the other one. The other one, like having already dried and set hours ago. So it added a little bit, but I think my eyes look fine. I don't want to have crazy dramatic doll lashes anyway, because I want to wear a strong lip color. At least I think I do. And let's start with that. This is the Deep Quad from my Salt New York collab. I think I want to wear corduroy, which is like the deepest version of Old Gum. I'm going to put it on and see. Okay, so that's a pretty light application. Like it's a pretty thin application, and I blurred the lip line with my finger. I think that's a great color. It is making it a pretty strong look though, a pretty strong makeup look. I think it depends on the holiday party. If it was like low lights, fancy cocktails, people dressed up kind of thing, then yes. If it was like a house party, like at someone's house, maybe like with family, like if it was like a thing I was going to with my family, I might blot the lip, and try to kind of make it feel more one with my skin, especially if I was then going to go and put on a cheek, which I think what I want to do is just wear the highlight. This is Nimue, which is the light highlight from my Salt collab. It's like a very, very, very light taupe. And I've been appreciating lately how just the highlight still does add a little bit of shadowing. Like unlike a lot of other highlights, when this is just by itself on a cheek, do you see that? It doesn't leave my face looking weirdly blank and washed out. It doesn't really add color, but it just adds enough of a presence. It's like enough of a shadow to not look weird, to just wear that with no blush. I've been doing it a lot, usually with lighter makeup looks. I think it's really working today. I'm really pushing it in to the skin because I really don't want that feeling that I have a lot of makeup on. Like I was like pushing it on my skin. So I was like pushing it into my lips, pushing it into my cheeks, and it feels a little bit more one with the skin now. Oh, I was going to try on these necklaces. Hold on. I got a haircut too. I don't know if you can tell because I talked about this at length in the Patreon video that I recently posted, but it's essentially the same exact haircut, but my stylist removed a bunch of weight from inside of the hair. She like actually just cut out a bunch of chunks from back here. It just like took out so much hair. It's like half my hair is gone, but from the inside, and the length is the same and the shape is the same. It's like the way that my other haircut would have looked on thinner hair. It's kind of like how it looks now. And I'm so happy with it. It's just a lot lighter, easier to take care of. But this is the first time I've filmed with it since I myself like washed and dried it after having that cut. So I'm still sort of getting used to it. And I feel like I do look a little bit like a different person. It's interesting how the thickness of one's hair and the way that that makes it take shape really contributes to the overall impression of the person. So I do kind of like it, that aspect of it too. There's so much more air in it now, and it's so much easier for the strands that are there to be piecey. You know what I mean? It's easier for it to be piecey instead of just a big chunk. So I got these necklaces from this brand, Brinker and Eliza, and this is exactly the kind of thing I would do for a holiday party. Wear makeup like this, earrings like this, like pretty low key, then some sort of festive sweater and a statement necklace. That's really pretty. When Tom was here, they tried this necklace on and it looked amazing on them. And I hadn't gotten a chance to show it on camera yet, but I'm probably going to give it to them next time I see them. My friend Haute Mess Tom, who if you're not following them on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing with your life, especially if you're out here watching makeup videos. If you like this kind of thing, I could see that working for an event or backwards. But I feel like I actually really like this with this look. Because it's part of like a look with a bunch of other moving parts, I feel like this necklace, it's less of a statement, like it's less front and center, so it's not competing as much with the sweater and the makeup and everything. It's a little more cohesive with it. So I really like this. I think this might be my favorite of the 3 necklaces that they sent. Really pretty. I think the charms are made out of like vintage glass or something. Okay, so that's the look, and I feel like, what did I learn from this? The thing that's keeping me from unreservedly loving it and being like, this is exactly what I would wear to a holiday party. I would like to walk out the door to one right now, is the way that the complexion came out with the Supergoop skin tint. It was just ill-advised. I shouldn't have layered that on top of all of that skincare and all of that primer. I was prepping my skin for real makeup, and instead I used a lotion, like a tinted lotion, because I was so excited to show you the color, and it didn't work out. So my skin feels a little bit heavy with moisture underneath everything. It's almost like it's making it, maybe it's just a sensory thing, because I don't think it looks bad, but it's making it feel a little bit like, ooh, she's wearing a full face of makeup. You know what I mean? The fact that I'm wearing more on my eyes and lips than I usually do these days in tandem, it's kind of contributing to that. So I think though, I really love this sort of mattified, blotted version of this lip for a look like this. I really love the way the eyes came out, like maybe my favorite aspect of this. And I think that ultimately this would be ideal for a holiday party. And especially if I'd prepped my complexion a little bit differently, it would be ideal for a holiday party. I also really love Nimue, the Salt New York highlight, just on its own on the cheeks for an event like this. I think that's also very balancing and chic. So thank you for spending this time with me while I put on makeup. I was pretending to get ready for a holiday party, but I was really getting ready to film new makeup hot takes, which is what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to go do that. Don't forget to submit your manuscripts to the Anthony Hecht Prize if you have one. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work.